Hey there, and welcome to Crafts on the Move. I'm Andrea, and today we are stepping into our Maker Studio for another tutorial. Let's get started. Welcome to the Maker Studio. I'm really excited to be here with some card making 101 basics. Today's tutorial is all about scoring. We're going to address the 4 basic scoring tools, and what scoring means that you're creating a light crease in your cardstock or paper before you fold it, giving a clean, crisp fold every time, so it gives it that nice professional look. The items we're going to be chatting about are the paper trimmer that has both a cutting blade and a score blade. And then we're going to move on to a score board. And then we'll go into the 2 hand tools, which are the Teflon bone folder. And I will also show you a regular bone folder. And we're going to be quickly talking about the embossing stylus. Hopefully by the time we get through this video, you will have identified your tools and or identified what you really need to start with. The paper trimmer with the score blade is best for beginners. It cuts and scores with one tool, and it also saves a little bit of money and space, and it's easy to use and accurate. And I know many crafters, paper crafters, card makers who have been crafting for over a decade and then some, and they still love using their paper trimmer as their score tool. And what you're going to do for your score tool is you will first need to make sure that your paper trimmer has a score blade. Usually, most brands will come with 2 different attachments that fit on to the cutting mechanism here, and they pop out. And they pop out so that you can replace them. This is the score tool, and you'll see there's somewhat of a dull metal piece on here. It looks like a wheel, and that is the tool that actually puts the score line. So this does not cut your paper, and usually it is white. Not all manufacturers color their score blade differently, but for the most part, they are mostly white. Then comes the cutting blade. This does have a sharp metal to it. So this is the blade, and it is a blade. It cuts through the paper, so you want to be very careful. This blade does need to be replaced. It does dull after wear and tear for a while. You can buy replacement blades for your cutting board. You'll either visit your local store and see if they carry the manufacturer, or sometimes you can go directly to the manufacturer, but it's always good to support your independent local crafting store. And you can keep both of these in your paper trimmer as you see fit. And there's an area in your paper trimmer where these will fit in nice and easily. See, it's just snapping in, so you're going to snap them in. We went over this in a previous video, but before you actually score your paper for a card base, you want to ensure that your paper is in fact 8.5 by 11. I've already trimmed these down to 8.5 by 11, so I'm going to show you how to score with this particular paper trimmer. This is the Spellbinders Paper Arts paper trimmer. It does have an arm extension that you can swing out, and it locks into place. And that's what it looks like underneath. I think there's some rubber grips on here too to help keep the trimmer in place while you're cutting. So you want to swing your arm out if you're using any size of a paper beyond about 6 inches. And you're going to see the ruler at the top, which is very handy. And for this particular card base, we will go ahead and we're going to score at 5.5. And so what you want to do is open this mechanism up and slide the left edge of your paper to 5.5. And I'm essentially making 2 A2 card bases. Then with your scoring blade, so you need to make sure you've identified your scoring blade. And for this particular machine, for this paper trimmer, it is the white one. Once your paper is in place, it's nice and flush at the top, and you can see it's flush on the left. You're going to take your score blade and just, for this particular time, I'm going to be rolling it up. If you start at the top, you're going to pull it down towards you, but you're only going to pull the white. If you pull the gray, you're going to end up cutting the paper. So I'm just going to pull down, and you're going to see there is a line here, and hopefully you can see it, but see how it just folded nicely in half? And now we can cut the paper into our 2 card bases. So we scored with the paper with the 11 at the top. Now you're going to rotate 90 degrees, and you're going to lift this mechanism up, and you're going to slide the left edge to 4 1/4. Put your mechanism down, and this time you're going to be using your cutting blade. You're going to pull the cutting blade to you. If it's down at the bottom, you can push it up. The blade is meant to cut both ways. And now you have 2 A2 card panels. Super, super easy. And you can see here that you have a decent crease. We're going to go over how to make that even a little bit more crisp with using our bone folder. So let's close the arm, lock that into place, and then you can take your Teflon bone folder and apply pressure at about a 45-degree angle right along that crease. And you can actually usually feel it give, and it actually push down. And now you have your folded card base. The benefit of the Teflon is some of the other bone folders, when you apply pressure and drag it, will actually leave a shiny line across your cardstock. And it's extremely noticeable on black and darker cardstocks, but you can see it on white as well. The Teflon bone folder is a little bit more expensive, but it's a tool that lasts. And it's very handy. And if you're going to be scoring a lot, you're going to want a Teflon. Most crafters end up switching to the Teflon. Right. The next tool we're going to talk about is the multi-purpose scoring board. This one is from Spellbinders. And you can see I have a red line. I was using that as a template for an angled score line. On this particular scoreboard, on the back is another bone folder. This is not Teflon, so this one will leave a little bit of a shine if you sometimes when you go ahead and crease your card base or whatever your folds are. But it's nice and handy if you're in a pinch and you don't have the bone folder or the stylus with you. This particular scoreboard also comes with this handy dandy attachment to make envelopes. So you can actually make envelopes and envelope boxes if you follow the measurements instructions on this. And you use it on the front here with this. It also makes gift boxes, apparently. So that's really fun. I haven't done that yet. Maybe I'll have to do another video on that. So for the purposes of this video, we're sticking with the card base. We're going to stay with an A2. And I'm going to grab my second sheet of cardstock. So this has already been cut to 8.5 by 11. And I'm going to make a landscape or side fold card base this time around. And the nice thing about this particular scoreboard is there are lines so that you can score every 1/8 of an inch. And this comes in handy when you start doing envelopes and folios, gift boxes, gift bags, and you want to have a little bit more control over the depth of your score lines. For the landscape or side fold, I'm going to put the left corner into the left edge here of the scoreboard. So I have the 8.5 at the top of the ruler, and then there would be 11 on the left side. And this time I'm going to be using the stylus. This is my preferred scoring tool. I prefer to score with the multi-purpose scoring board and the stylus. The We Are Makers stylus comes in, I think it's a 3 or 4 pack. And you can see there's kind of like a bulbous end to this piece of metal. What happens is these balls are different sizes, and that is helpful for flower forming and some other card paper making projects that you're going to do. I find I like this particular stylus. This ball is good for what I do, and it's my preference. So I took some tape and marked it so that I know visually which stylus size I want to use all the time. So what you're going to do with your stylus is that you're going to find the line up at the top that you want to score at. For this particular card base, I'm going to score at 4 1/4. So I have my 4 1/4 mark right here. I'm going to put my stylus right in the divot. You'll feel it kind of just fit right in, and at about a 45-degree angle with my hand applying some pressure to the paper so it doesn't shift while I drag the stylus down. I'm going to apply a little bit of pressure to the paper and hold it in place and bring the stylus down towards me, staying in that line. So the line is the guide to help you keep the crease. And then you're going to see there is a crease in my cardstock. Now, for this particular method, we need the paper trimmer again. So we're actually done with the scoring tool and the stylus for this card base. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate the paper 90 degrees, and I want the cardstock's left edge at 5 1/2. So I got 5 1/2 on this side and 5 1/2 on the right side. And the score line is right here, halfway in between this measurement, which is the 8 1/2. And with my cutting blade, I'm going to push up towards the top. And now I have my two 5 1/2 by 4 1/4 card bases. I'm going to take my bone folder. I'm going to fold this in half. And you can see how easy and natural that folds. And I'm going to just kind of make sure my edges are squared up. And I'm going to apply some pressure on that crease, on that score line, and crease it down. Now, I have my paper blade is brand new and it cuts pretty deep. If you get an edge where it looks flared, you can actually take your bone folder, press down along the edge, apply some pretty good pressure, and it will actually flatten that cut edge. And no one will be the wiser. And now you have a really nice flat card base. Excellent. And again, I use the Teflon bone folder, the multi-purpose scoreboard, a stylus, and the paper trimmer that has the blade and the score blade on it. So it's got the cutting blade and the score blade. I hope you found this helpful. If you have any questions, you can always make a comment on our blog post and we will get back to you as soon as we can. And in the meantime, have fun crafting. Thanks.